well, or well as can be. And we are here at Sri Chaitanya Saraswati, West London. We are continuing with Affectionate guidance this evening by our Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. We have reached chapter 17 in praise of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Narottam Thakur. So I would like to say a few words to glorify him. Before Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, most of the Vaishnava songs came from Srila Narottam Thakur. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakati Sadma, you all know. This is from Narottam's Prema Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana. But although he wrote many beautiful songs of devotion, Narottam Thakur was not just a songwriter, he was a great pundit. And more than that, he was a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Dev. When Mahaprabhu followed, so you're following Kat, right? Narottam Thakur, you've seen, he's the author of many of the songs that we sing. You'll notice in our like we sang just now, Shri Guru Charana Padma. This is by Narottam Thakur. Maybe we should close that door then. When Mahaprabhu traveled to Ramkeli, on the way he had to cross the river Padma. While on the banks of the river, he began to call, Narottam, Narottam, Narottam. The devotees could not understand the meaning at that time, but later it was revealed that from that part of Bengal, a great devotee would appear, and his name would be Narottam. Sriman Mahaprabhu had left a great treasure stored in the waters of Padma Devi for Narottam, Krishna Prema. After many years, Narottam Das Thakur appeared in the village of that area known as Katori. He was a prince, the only son of Raj Krishnananda Dutt and Rani Narayani Devi. Narottam was enlightened even from his early childhood. And one day he had a dream in which Nityananda Prabhu instructed him, go to the river Padma and take your bath there, because Mahaprabhu has left his gift of Krishna Prema for you within her waters. Narottam immediately awoke and went to the river and entered the water. While bathing, he experienced the divine form of Mahaprabhu embracing him, and Krishna Prema entered into his being. He became transformed, and just like Mahaprabhu himself, he began crying, dancing, laughing, and constantly chanting the names of Krishna. And suddenly Ashta Sattvika Bhav, the 8 symptoms of ecstasy and love of Krishna, appeared in his body. Upon returning home, Narottam's mother began to question, "Oh, my son, what has happened to you? Why are you crying and behaving in this peculiar way? Please, if I can help in any way, I am ready to do anything. I am even ready to give up my life if that will help you. Tell me what I can do." Narottam replied, "Mother, last night I went to the river Padma, inspired by a dream. And there, someone who I believe was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced me and entered into my heart. Now I am feeling great sadness and separation from that Mahaprabhu and from Sri Krishna Chandra, and that is what causes me to cry. If you wish to show your kindness to me, then please give me permission to go to Vrindavan, where I shall search for Mahaprabhu." After hearing Narottam's petition, his father became worried, fearing that his son would leave home, and so on, just like the father of Raghunath Das Goswami. After hearing Narottam's petition, his father became worried, fearing that his son would leave home. And so, just like the father of Raghunath Das Goswami, he arranged some guards to watch Narottam. Narottam remained in the house, chanting, dancing, and writing devotional songs, and always manifesting the 8 symptoms of divine ecstasy. Narottam was restless, always crying for Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Since the day he took his bath in the river, his body had changed from his dark complexion, and he had become the same golden color of Mahaprabhu. Radharani's color had come into his body, and everyone was greatly surprised, saying, "Yes, it is true. Narottam has received Krishna Prem from Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is really living in his heart." Everyone was offering him respect, but his father was becoming more and more worried. One day when his father had gone to pay taxes on behalf of the state and had traveled far away, Narottam went to his mother crying in great anguish and again petitioned her, "Mother, please give your permission. I must go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates who are living in Vrindavan. It is the order of Nityananda Prabhu, so please arrange for me to go." Narottam's mother made the arrangements, and in secret Narottam left his home and went to Vrindavan. Narottam had been having many dreams in which Mahaprabhu instructed him to go to Vrindavan and take shelter of the lotus feet of his confidential devotee, Srila Lokanath Das Goswami, who would give diksha to him. He also told Narottam to find Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami, and to keep their holy association. After arriving in Vrindavan, Narottam found that Rupa and Sanatana had already left the world, but he found there Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Lokanath Das Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and many other great Vaishnavas who gave him their company. Narottam became the student of Jiva Goswami and petitioned Lokanath Goswami to give him diksha. Lokanath refused him. Lokanath Goswami had decided that he would never accept any disciples and lived in an extremely austere way in Vrindavan, living under a different tree every night. Narottam felt great sadness upon being refused by Srila Lokanath, and he told him, "I can only take my initiation from you. Sriman Mahaprabhu has told me that you will give me diksha, so until then I will wait." Narottam tried to serve his guru, but the Goswami would allow no one to serve him. Narottam thought, if he will not even stay under the same tree for more than one night, then what kind of service can I do for him? After a while, Narottam noticed that Srila Lokanath Prabhu would always go to the same place to pass stool. And he began to think that although Lokanath had refused to give him any service for over 2 years, if he could clean that place every day, then at last he would have some service. Narottam was fixed in his resolve that he must take diksha from Srila Lokanath Goswami, as this was the order of Mahaprabhu. Very soon Lokanath Goswami began to notice, "I come here every day to pass stool, and it seems that someone is cleaning this place after me. Who can be doing this?" So one night, from a hidden place, Lokanath saw that at midnight Narottam is coming, and very happily cleaning that place. Lokanath knew that Narottam was the son of the famous king, Krishna Nanda Dat. He was greatly astonished and confronted Narottam. "Why are you, a prince of high noble birth, coming each night and cleaning this dirty place?" And Narottam replied, "Prabhu, I need your mercy. Without your mercy, I cannot live. Your vow is that you will not accept any disciples. But by the order of Sriman Mahaprabhu, it is my vow that I must have your connection. I don't know when you will give me your mercy, but you must accept me as your disciple." So after refusing Narottam 18 times, Finally, Srila Lokanath Das Goswami took Narottam Das and gave him Diksha. Narottam received instruction from Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Kaviraj Goswami, and many other Goswamis who were there in Vrindavan. He was a great Pandit, and all the devotees headed by Sri Jiva, recognizing his qualification, bestowed upon him the title of Thakur. And I don't know the exact meaning of Thakur, but normally the deity is referred to as Thakur. So, in like colloquial talk, and we always hear in Bengal, the Bengali devotee speaking of the deity as the Thakur. So it is, very high title that will be, used for a very great devotee. Narottam Thakur's close associates and peers were Shyamananda and Srinivas. So these three, they were like a team. From the inspiration of Srila Jiva Goswami and the other Vaishnavas, these three great devotees were sent back to Bengal to continue the preaching of Mahaprabhu. The Bengali Vaishnavas were very eager to read the writings of Sri Rup, Sanatan, Raghunath, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Lokanath Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Prabodhananda Saraswati, and the other Goswamis. So Narottam, Shyamananda, and Srinivas traveled from Vrindavan towards Bengal with many copies of those great books. So this was like, a very momentous occasion. And this must have included, for example, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so many other, scriptures from Rup. So, things like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadeshamrita, these things. All of these revelations, they'd come out in Vrindavan, and the devotees in Bengal, because Mahaprabhu's group was concentrated in Bengal, and indeed most of these Vaishnavas, they're Bengali, who had composed, but they came to stay in Vrindavan. So naturally the devotees in Vrindavan, in Bengal, were very eager, and this isn't like, nowadays we take communication, this instant communication for granted. But it would be, in those days, would have been a matter of weeks or months, to send, some text, some letter, or some parcel. So this is like a big mission, it's a very special mission to bring all of these books for the pleasure of the Bengali devotees. So these three young, they were all about like 15 or something when the three of them were all from the Bengal side. They were about 15 at the time, and then they would have spent a few years in Vrindavan. And then they're going back. Must be like in their late teens, something like that. The three of them. So Narottam, Shyamananda, and Srinivas traveled from Vrindavan towards Bengal with many copies of those great books. Finally, they arrived in Vishnupur, in the district of Birbhum, Bengal. The king of this region was Raj Bir Hambir, but he was a dacoit, bandit, and was engaged in many robberies in the area. The king had a Brahmin astrologer, and according to the astrologer's calculations, he would know where and when to carry out his next robbery. The astrologer informed the king that on a particular route, bullock carts would be passing, carrying many precious jewels. So the jubilant king sent his dacoits to rob the caravan. While Narottam and the Vaishnavas slept, the king's dacoits stole away the chests containing the books of the Goswamis. this is the problem, in this world. If you have something, you always want a little more. It's never enough. So, this king, how wealthy he was, we can't imagine, but it's not enough. So he has these planned, robberies with the that he carries out with the assistance of what they call the Jyotish. And he can make some calculations, astrological calculations, and understand where there will be some wealth at any particular time. And so they're carrying these books, but the astrological calculations are showing jewels, because they are jewels. They're spiritual jewels in the form of books. So he sends these men to rob them. After much searching, Narottam, Srinivas, and Shamananda, in great sorrow, could not trace the books. Srinivas ordered Narottam to return to Keturigram, and Shamananda went to Midnapur, where they began preaching. Srinivasacharya resolved to stay and try to find the stolen books. So Srinivas, he was like the leader of this group, the three of them. And so the three of them searched for some time in this village, Vishnupur, and couldn't find it. So then Srinivas told Narottam to go on to, they should not waste time. They can start with their preaching. And so he sends Narottam back to his hometown of Keturigram, and Shamananda to Midnapur, which maybe was his hometown as well, I'm not sure. And then Srinivas stayed to try to find the books. He felt that responsibility as the head of the group. Srinivas heard that in the assembly of Raj Bir Hambir, that night a great Pandit would give explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Brahmin in whose house Srinivas was staying invited Srinivas to accompany him to the meeting. Srinivas agreed. After hearing the Pandit's explanation of the Bhagavatam, Srinivas addressed Raj Bir Hambir, saying, Srimad Bhagavatam is not child's play. It is the transcendental knowledge descended to this earth for our super benefit. And the explanation given by this man is intolerable. He obviously knows nothing of the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Raj Bir Hambir was greatly surprised at Srinivas's exclamation and asked him, Then can you explain the Bhagavatam? Yes, I can, replied Srinivas. And taking his seat on the Vyasasan, he spoke for several hours. All those that heard him became greatly moved, and they all, including the king, took shelter of his lotus feet. And this is a nice example of properly adjusted humility, because somebody could call him, Srinivas, arrogant for having asserted himself like that, and for discrediting the Pandit who was giving that explanation. But Srinivas was not acting out of his own ego. He was acting in the interest of his gurus, and in the dignity of the proper conception. So from that angle, he could not tolerate, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the very essence of all the Vedic instruction, and he's misrepresenting it. He could not tolerate that. And for the dignity of his gurus, for establishing the proper conclusion of Bhagavatam, then he felt compelled, despite his own, humility, that was actually it is an expression of humility. But despite that natural tendency that a Vaishnava has to not assert themselves out of the feeling of service necessity, then he is doing so. This is always the mood of the Vaishnava. They are hiding their qualities, but if there is some necessity for that to be revealed, then they are, expressing that. The king, so everyone, all those that heard him became greatly moved, and they all, including the king, took shelter of his lotus feet. So, I appreciate this about the king. He was a bit of a ruffian, and he had some bad nature. But despite that, he had some spiritual quality and some real, spiritual sentiment. He has some real, spiritual inclination, and he can recognize that Srinivas is he's the real, he's the real thing. He can recognize saintly qualities in Srinivas, and he's taking shelter of him. So the king humbly approached him. Prabhu, you are indeed a great Vaishnava. Please tell me what service I can do for you. Where have you come from? How far have you traveled? Srinivasacharya told him, I have come from Vrindavan carrying chests of books written by the Goswamis, but now they are lost, stolen by I not know who, so I remain here searching for them. With his head bowed, Rajbir Hambir announced, I am the culprit. I have those books in my home, and every day I have been worshipping them. My astrologer told me that his calculations were true, and that the books were actually jewels, although they were in the form of books. So that is why every day I'm offering puja. So every day he was making some worship, offering some incense to those books. And the king took Srinivas to the books. The news was sent to Narottam and Shamananda, and in great jubilation, Narottam Thakur arranged a grand festival. As well as Narottam, Shamananda, Srinivas, and other noted Vaishnavas, Mother Janava Devi, Sri Nityananda Prabhu Shakti, also came there to Katurigram to attend the festival. After properly worshipping Janava Devi, Narottam Thakur installed 6 deities in different temples: Sri Krishna, Vallabhi Kanta, Braja Mohan, Radha Kanta, Radha Raman, and Gauranga. Elaborate puja arrangements were made, including a month-long festival of Hari Kirtan. And every day in Narottam's Kirtan, those who were fortunate saw Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu dancing there. Such was Narottam's devotion. Those who knew him considered he was the incarnation of Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu combined. Although Lokanath Goswami only had one disciple, Narottam gave Krishna prema to everyone. And just like Nityananda Prabhu, he did not consider who was fit and who was not. Whoever wanted Krishna prema, then Narottam would give it to them. He was given this special power by the grace of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Lokanath Goswami, Narottam's Gurudev. Narottam Das Thakur was born in the Kayasta community and caused a great deal of controversy by accepting disciples who were from the Brahmin caste. The Brahmin section were very angry with him and tried repeatedly to defeat him in debate. But the only result was that more Brahmins were becoming his disciples. The Brahmins were very unhappy. And when in his last years Narottam manifested much sickness, the Brahmins declared that this was the result of Narottam violating the scriptural injunctions by accepting disciples from a higher caste than his own. Gradually, Narottam's condition became worse, and finally he died. The Brahmins were jubilant and began celebrating Narottam's passing as proof of his offenses to their community. Narottam's disciples were heartbroken and prayed before their Gurudev's body. "O Prabhu, you have shown this Leela of your passing in this way. And the Brahmins are committing offense to your lotus feet because they cannot understand. O Lord, what shall we do now? Surely all the preaching will be ruined if you show this kind of passing Leela. Please show your mercy to these misguided Brahmins. Suddenly Narottam returned to his body and sat up, and upon seeing this miracle, the opposition surrendered to his lotus feet. Some months later, Narottam was exhibiting intense symptoms of separation from Radha and Krishna, and so again he left this world. His body turned into milk and merged with the waters of the holy river Ganges. In this way, Narottam Thakur preached Krishna consciousness, and from him the preceptorial line is coming to Vishwanath Chakravarti. Narottam wrote many songs of devotion, and Prema Bhakti Chandrika is very famous in this world amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Today is his holy disappearance day, and we pray for his grace upon us all. Jai. So, we are all greatly indebted to Narottam Das Thakur. His contribution to our line is so great because, after Mahaprabhu, this is like, 2 generations after Mahaprabhu. He did so much to not only to keep Mahaprabhu's line alive, but also to extend it. Because he, as Gurudev mentioned, he had thousands of disciples. And he also, he wrote so many songs. And so this, song is such a powerful way to enter to the hearts of people. So these songs that we sing, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Nitai Pada Kamala, Gaurangeda Duti Pada, so many songs that we're singing, they became like part of the culture, So in those songs, a whole of Mahaprabhu's conception is there. So, it was a very powerful way to spread Mahaprabhu's teachings among the general public. And, there's I've heard Gurudev tell a few other stories about Narottam. There's so much. Narottam is like a hero, in our line. And in his time, from what I can gather, he was like a hero. He was, a very great acharya. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, we just sang in the Prabhupada Padma Stavaka, he draws some comparison between Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur. So that also, Saraswati Thakur was just he's just on, very close to us, in terms of time, and we have, a bit more of a feeling, an idea of the nature of, we've heard so many histories about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But Narottam Thakur, it is, some time away, and so we've heard some stories, but you don't get quite that same feeling as someone who is more close in time. But from that statement of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Kaviraja Narottama Sakya Padam, that there's some similarity, between Narottam and Saraswati Thakur. We get some idea from that, of that type of boldness and preaching, that type of power. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he's also drawn the parallel between how Saraswati Thakur, he took initiation from Gorky Shore Das Babaji, who only accepted one disciple, but then Saraswati Thakur took thousands. And then also similarly, Narottam, he took from Lokanath, who only took one disciple. But then Narottam, he took thousands. they had this very generous and broad approach, in spreading Mahaprabhu's preaching mission. And we also have one song which also shows a similar mood to what we've understood about Srila Saraswati Thakur. This Anya Bilasha Chadi Jnana Karma Padihadi, where it's like a very strong, very strongly establishing the importance of practicing, in the mood of pure devotion, avoiding the tendency for jnana, for karma, for demigod worship, and so on and so forth. There's, there's like a heaviness in that song that you don't see in other songs, actually. Like, repeatedly, denouncing everything that's not exclusively Krishna consciousness. And that was also the mood of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, we are very indebted to Narottam Das Thakur. And his influence is still upon us today, and still now in Bengal, like these songs of his, you'll hear them, they're still singing them in the villages. And Gurudev, he said that before he joined the Mat, Narottam Thakur was head of the song department. Because song was so central to his upbringing. That was his father's profession, kirtan. That was how he made money, as a kirtaniya. And so Gurudev said, Narottam's songs were always principal. So, such an important contribution to our line. Okay, well, we can finish there for today. Hopefully we'll wake up tomorrow and we can continue with our humble attempts at practicing Krishna consciousness, the only thing which gives some meaning to our existence. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Radha Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunatha.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunatha.
Nichai Gosai Kodi Charana Vandana.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bhadana.
Raha Hoite Bhignana Shabishta Purana.
Jai Vignana Shabishta Purana.
Nichai Gosai Jai Muita Dadasa.
Jai Gosai Jai Taradasa.
Pansabhada Pada Denu Mura Panchagrasa. Sajara Charana Sebi Bhakta Sane Bhasa. Janame Nitai Jabe Braje Koilo Basa Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Kodila Prakasha Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bhajaya Mana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Padmakodihasha Harinam Sankirtan Kohe Narottam Dasa Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Gaura Haribo. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Dakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai Shri Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai, the world devotees Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.